And now the renowned Professor Dr. Howland.
Thank you. What an inspiration you are to all of us. Reverend Uncle Onan Cannabite. He is a remarkable subgenius, but so are they all. After all, you can make remarks about anybody. But there has to be somebody, some person of substance there to make the remarks about. And the word genius in some way can be interpreted as meaning spirit, like the genie that comes out of the lamp. And if you are under your own spirit, the subgenius, this would be yet another of the many refracting meanings inherent in the word subgenius. But it is true that the whole purpose is to achieve and realize true slack. You must know that you were born with original slack. But the conspiracy has been taking away all of your life, installing itself within you and doing its best to make you thirst and jones for what it offers, which is false slack. False slack manufactured by the conspiracy. Now, of course, it may be that French fries are full of trans fats, but they might represent slack to somebody. The slack would not be false if, when achieved, it's satisfied. But conspiracy slack is designed to keep you jonesing and lusting and thirsting after every new tchotchke, every new iPod, every new gadget, or what have you, and you think if you only have that, everything will be fine. But, of course, it never is, because like the fabled grapes of Tantalus, who was tortured in this way in the underworld, they withdraw when his claw-like hands vainly grasps at them for the 10 billionth time. And he's down there doing it yet. But we can avoid his fate by thirsting after true slack. Leisure, the basis of culture. Your time, the time and a half time, the overtime, the time that is uniquely yours and no one else's. In a moment of leisure, great things happen. Symphonies are composed, machines, labor-saving devices are designed, poems come to fruition, or evil can come to fruition. But slack is an equal opportunity employer. And now I am going to bring to the stage another well-known subgenius and corrupter of youth in his own right. He has been an associate for many years and suffered the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune and the law and whatnot. But he stands here, bloodied but unbowed, to lay his particular subgenius crib upon you all. And of course I'm talking about Reverend Crawford.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm Reverend Crawford, and tonight I'm going to use this broom as proof of the supremacy of J.R. Bob Dobbs and his Church of the Subgenius. Now, it's been 10 years since the last revival here in Portland, Oregon, and it gives me great pleasure to stand before you this evening and once again testify for Bob. Now, when I look out at this wonderful crowd here at the Ash Street Saloon, I see a lot of young faces, brothers and sisters, and that gives me very great hope and joy. It's good to know that there are so many young mutants out there this evening who will be getting their first true taste of Dobbsley slack. Now, there may be people out here who aren't completely familiar with all that J.R. Bob Dobbs can do for you and to you, because J.R. Bob Dobbs is a savior you can count on. He is a personal savior that delivers. J.R. Bob Dobbs is the kind of a savior that will go down to 82nd Avenue, get 2 blowjobs, then come back home and give you one of them. Can I get a praise Bob? Praise him indeed. So if you are new to Bob and the church, then welcome. And it also pleases me a great deal to see a lot of veteran subgenii in the crowd tonight. Now, I by no means consider myself to be an old-school subgenius, particularly in the context of some of the world-renowned doctors who are here this evening and whose wisdom you have already partaken of. Next to them, I'm a veritable babe in the woods of Dobbs. But when Johnny Brainwash was putting this revival together, and he's done a hell of a job, can I get a shout-out for Johnny Brainwash? this, the Bible, together, I was relating all the wonderful experiences I've had with the Church of the Subgenius since I first joined in 1990. And then I thought, wow, damn, 1990, that's almost 20 fucking years, man. That is 20 years, 2 decades of slack that this wonderful religion has brought me, brothers and sisters, and I'm here to testify that it has been good. Now, I don't think there are any doctors here this evening who will disagree with me when I say that Bob Dobbs has delivered on every promise he has made to his faithful, and then some. It has been a long road, brothers and sisters. We all know that. The last 8 years were particularly difficult, but we have prevailed. Bob has come through, and he has made good on all of his promises for the good of mutant kind. So, a lot of things have happened since that first pamphlet hit the streets. A lot of things for the good of mutant kind since Bob first received that transmission from Jehovah One on his homemade television set. Amazing things have happened. Wondrous events like X Day. On that day, of course, we entered the pleasure saucers of the sex goddesses and ascended to heaven, where we fed and we fropped and we fornicated for 666 days. You guys all remember that, right? Pleasures unimaginable, brothers and sisters. But despite all of the incredible pleasures of the saucers, the ennui set in, and we began to realize that without a planet to dominate, life for the Subgenius began to be a little dull and pointless, kind of like living in Seattle. So we terraformed Mars because, of course, the Earth was destroyed in the great burning of the Pinks that followed X Day. We terraformed Mars to be an exact replica of the Earth, and we descended from the saucers to claim our new home. Unfortunately, some of us were so frop-saturated that we might not even remember all of these fantastic events. Sure, they were mind-boggling and amazing, but there was a lot of frop on those saucers, brothers and sisters, and it was real high quality. So, just in case we might forget these events that Bob hath wrought, we left clues on our new Earth to remind us of the supremacy of the Subgenius. We elected an African-American Yetison president of the United States of America. We invented all sorts of neat little computer electronic gadgets that we could carry around all day and do amazing things with. And we made comic books real popular and had movies based on them produced with huge budgets and amazing special effects. And we got Marge Simpson on the cover of Playboy magazine. Things are there to remind us that Bob made good on his promise. And then there are the Pinks. Yeah, we recreated them too. Now, some might consider this to be a lapse in judgment, and like I said, that saucer frop was really potent, but we realized that it was a little bit boring without having Pinks to torment. And deep down inside, we knew that we needed the Pinks to enable our mighty mutant yang. They are the weak, lame yin. So we still have the Pinks, but they're no longer in charge, brothers and sisters, and we know it. And the beautiful thing is, they know it too. So now we are treated with the sight of bewildered Pinks standing up at town hall meetings across the country going, "I want my America back!" And our response to that is, fuck no! We mutants work too hard and sacrifice too much to wrest it away from you, you stupid, ignorant, vile, empty, pink, mole zombie sack of shit. You will not get your America back because Bob owns it now. And if you don't believe it, I offer as proof this simple broom. Now, brothers and sisters, in the book of the Subgenius, there's listed a string of prophecies, things that would come into being prior to the ascendancy of the Subgenius. This was a long string of prophecies which Bob provided us as guideposts along the path of mutant salvation. And the very last prophecy, brothers and sisters, the very final sign that our kind has prevailed is simply this: that cheap, simple composite brooms are readily available. You can look it up. So brothers and sisters, I went down to the dollar store just a few blocks from my house, bought this broom, paid $1 for it. $1, which is, not coincidentally, the price of eternal salvation as listed on the first pamphlet of the subgenius. Quod erat demonstratum, there is slack.